Well, a Gaza-bound yacht carrying a dozen activists, including Greta Thunberg, has been taken to an Israeli port. The yacht is operated by the pro-Palestinian Freedom Flotilla coalition and had been aiming to deliver a symbolic amount of aid to Gaza before it was intercepted. Australian emergency physician Dr Mohammed Mustafa, who's completed 2 volunteer medical postings in Gaza, was on board the flotilla before they set sail, and he joins us in the studio now. Good morning to you, Dr Mo. Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Glad you're safe. You must be quite concerned for those on board.
Yeah, I haven't slept all night. I remember before I left, Tiago, who gave me his kufiyya, he was showing me pictures of his young child that he just had. So, for them, they are sacrificing everything to go there, and they're leaving their families behind to try and break the siege in Gaza, help 1 million children that are starving to death.
So what was the aim of the mission? Because it was always pretty likely that Israel would probably intercept the boat.
Gaza has been under illegal siege for, almost 2 decades now. And this Freedom Flotilla has been going for 15 years, trying to break the siege of Gaza. Obviously, at this particular moment in time, we are looking at widespread famine throughout the whole of Gaza. So that's why there's been so much attention here. And obviously, Greta Thunberg coming in, the idea was to bring attention to Gaza, bring attention to this illegal siege and blockade and these people that are starving to death. And, it's made headline news all around the world. So what they were trying to do seems to have worked, which is to get the focus on Gaza again.
How were the people before they left when you saw them?
There was tears, they were crying, they were scared. They were hugging their families goodbye. It's real, because only 3 weeks ago when the flotilla set sail before, it was bombed with drones and people were injured. And, there's been a history where people have been killed trying to break the siege in Gaza. So, it was a very real threat. I think the fact that Greta Thunberg was there, and I think there has to be credit given to her, because the fact that she was there was probably the reason why the boat didn't get bombed and they just got taken peacefully.
Are you concerned around the lack of communications now? Have you been able to get in touch with anyone since?
So, the Freedom Flotilla team, they're obviously very much in touch with me and everybody else who is part of the back scenes. And, we've not been able to know where they are, what's happened to them. We just know that they've arrived in Israel and they're being taken into detention. What's going to happen to them, we don't know.
Israel, I think, has said that they'll be deported pretty soon. I wanted to ask about back home here in Australia. You've done a lot of interviews since you were in Gaza.
Yeah.
Do you think that public perceptions are changing at all in this country?
I think so. I think public perception is changing, and I think, what we're witnessing is a really historic moment here. This has been an issue that's been going on for 75 years, and, now it seems as if the mask has fallen off at what's going on with this occupation. It's not just a public perception, it's a legal perception as well. The ICJ has ruled in an apartheid state. It's ruled that there's a probable genocide going on there. Amnesty International have come out and said that it's a genocide that's going on there. So it's not just a public perception shift that's changed, it's also a law change that's happening on. It's done at every level. There seems to be a change now with this, and I think this is now a historic moment for world leaders to do something. Now, this is the right moment. The public sentiment is there. There's always been a lot of worry to do something for the Palestinian cause and solve this problem. But if you're not going to solve it now, when are you going to solve it? People are dying and children are starving to death.
Yeah, we're seeing that clearly. Look, you also had an idea to set up more kind of field hospitals, really, field treatment centres in Gaza. Where are you at with that push?
So, we are having discussions with the, I just came back from Jordan, so I flew to Jordan where the infrastructure is in place there to build it. This isn't going to be a normal field hospital where it's just tents. These are medical caravans, and, they're going to have pathology labs, they're going to have ICU units, inpatient units, they have their own centres to make oxygen cylinders as well. They're solar panel powered. They have sewerage system connected to them, waterworks connected to them. They have a kitchen in there as well, which we're dedicating to Zomi, who was killed in Gaza. And it's got a blood transfusion centre in it as well. So this has everything, and essentially once it gets loaded on the back of lorries, they get driven into Gaza, and then it gets assembled like a jigsaw, and it's ready, and it's a mobile hospital that's ready. And when Gaza gets rebuilt, that can be either reassembled into the larger hospitals, or they can be moved around as mobile clinics. So it has so many uses and potential. and, you know, we're in the late stages of talking with the Minderoo Foundation, who hopefully will be funding this. I have spoken to the Jordanian diplomats as well, and we've spoken to the Australian ambassador in Jordan. We're establishing connections with the two governments. I've reached out to the Indonesian government, the humanitarian wing, and we've had conversations with them, and hopefully we'll establish diplomatic connections as well with Australia, because they've got their own field hospital in Gaza that they've had for 11 years. So it's just to help our government in order to navigate how to do this. So, you know, we've done a lot. And, you know, we're not diplomats, we're not politicians, we're not fundraisers. But, you know, if we can do this in 5-6 weeks, then the government can step in, help us, and they can make something that is really not just life-changing for those children in Gaza, but this will be historic for the region. You know, when a Western country comes in and is healing children rather than bombing them or supplying diplomatic cover for this, then it changes the perception of the whole Middle East, and it'll also help bring down the temperature in this country, because everyone will see that we're trying to do something. And, you know, that's what I want as well. I want what's best for this country, and I want what's best for those children, and I think this is the way to do it. A children's hospital in Gaza.
Dr Mo, thanks very much for your time on the programme this morning. It's good to see you again. Thank you.